Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dina Hamdan. There she
Hi.
is. There she is.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. Thank you for having me.
We are very pleased to have you here. Thank you for joining us from Berlin.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Mhm.
So let's crack into it. So you're a Palestinian journalist and filmmaker joining us over from Berlin. One of the interesting things we found about this story is the focus is not of the refugee journey from conflict to safety, but it's
Mhm.
how the new life presents a fresh set of conflicts within the family. So, can you
Yes.
talk to us a little bit about why you wanted to tell that side of the refugee story?
Yes, I didn't want to dwell too much. I think whenever the word refugee comes up in any conversation now, the first thing that comes to mind are these stereotypical images of people on boats and people in refugee camps. And, this story is very real. But what I was interested in is what happens when you're sort of in the semi-normal life, what appears to be normal from the outside, but trying to understand the trauma that you're sort of that kind of is festering within you, and sometimes it bubbles up to the surface, and that's inspired by a lot of my Syrian friends. I've been living in Berlin for 5 years, and I've got a few Syrian friends who came here as refugees, and I observe how they try to cope with this new life in the city, and it's also inspired by the journey of my family, because my family also became refugees, and I didn't live the refugee experience myself. I didn't live the exodus. What I lived is being in a home that carries the trauma of conflict, but everything on the surface seems normal. You live what you think is a healthy childhood, but deep inside there are some serious complications that you only begin to understand once you grow up and you sort of look back at your parents' experience. So it's probably a lot of themes to cram into 21 minutes, but there's a personal connection to the story of the mother and son within me as a person, and also from the stories of my friends who I've met here in Berlin.
Okay, wow. Interesting. Yeah, the slow burn.
Mhm.
So we're going to welcome now Arafili. He's going to come back up and join us. I think you met Arafili before in our test, but
Yes.
hello, Arafili. Sorry, I'm the
Hello,
one
Dima.
clapping.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Wonderful
Nice to
film.
see you again.
Lovely
Thank
to
you.
see you. Lovely film. I fell in love with it from the minute I saw it. Just for the reasons that you are saying, that it's a very original story and it doesn't focus where films about refugees are focusing normally. Anyway, another thing I want to ask is, I read in an interview that you say that it was really challenging to put this together in
Yes.
terms of funding, and you were also not speaking the language in the country you were shooting. So give us a bit of gossip.
Well, actually, to be fair, I mean, the journey with the funding, there was, when I first wanted to make this film, I met a German producer who took care of applying and, getting the public funds. So the funds came through him. But very unfortunately, later on, we had a major falling out due, to a lot of legal and lack of transparency reasons that I can't go into anymore. But I sort of decided halfway through that I had to take care of this, and he basically transferred all the rights of the funds to me. So I wasn't supposed to be the producer. I was the writer and the director, and I was counting on someone being a producer. And then they had to leave. So suddenly, I had to take care of things mostly in a language that I don't speak, but obviously, I didn't do it on my own. We had the line producer, Olivia Stube, who stepped in and pretty much she saved the day. So, I mean, ultimately, as a project, I was the producer, but I couldn't have pulled it off if it wasn't for the team that sort of came together, the cinematographer, Frank Schweiger, and everyone else. It was a small team, and like heads of departments were rolling up their sleeves and doing the small tasks. So I mean, to this day, I'm still sorting out budget and issues because I couldn't even afford to hire an accountant. So I have to put everything through Google Translate. But I haven't been in trouble with the tax authorities in Germany just yet over this film. So I think I must be doing okay. Or Google Translate is probably doing okay.
Yeah, you are doing great. I mean, that's determination for you. Yeah, and a little question I had, another that impressed us all in the team. We read somewhere you said that not paradoxically, like in Middle East there are more women filmmakers than in Hollywood and in the West. Is that?
Did I say that, or did
Yes.
I quote someone
You did, we
saying
got you.
that?
We
No,
got it.
I can't.
It said,
I think
yeah, sorry, go on.
no, I don't think I think no, I can't say that with any degree of certainty. I mean, statistically, I couldn't really say that, but what I meant to say is people often look at the Middle East and they think, you know, women must be underrepresented. And, you know, while this is true in so many other aspects of public life, when it comes to the arts and more specifically filmmaking, you have a lot of astounding Arab filmmakers. In Palestine, we have amazing filmmakers, women who are, who've been, making incredible films for, I don't know, more than 20 years or so. And then the same thing goes to Lebanon, the same thing goes to Egypt. So I would assume, let's put it this way, that the representation or the gender representation of Arab female filmmakers in the Arab world is much bigger than people may think it is, simply because they have this stereotypical image of the Middle East being, an inhospitable environment for successful women. And in filmmaking, I don't think that's the case. And certainly what I could say is, I've faced a lot of challenges in making films, but gender discrimination, I honestly cannot say was one of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. I was just remembering we've had quite a few in the past, quite a few women. Yeah, voices. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. We have time for one more little point.
No, I think with the role we have a big.
Okay.
Program.
Did you want to? So you wanted to shout out your crew that worked with you in the film?
Yes, Olivia Stuber, Frank Schweiger, Sophia Jackson, Tariq Essayas, the lead actor, Rawa Derwish, who was amazing as the mother, and Frederica Ferreich, I keep getting her name wrong, who played the German neighbor. I wish I could, recite the names of all the crew members, but yes, this film could not have been made without them.
It sounds like an adventure, and you really pulled off an amazing thing there. Really incredible story.
Absolutely. And
looked fantastic. So well done. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for Dina, Hamdan. Very excited to see the future of your work. And thanks so much for coming and joining us. I know you're really busy and you've carved out a bit of time for us. But thank you again, Dina.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here.